There's something about Mace Windu that just doesn't sit right with me. Like, yeah, he's cool with the purple lightsaber and the gravelly voice and all that Jedi swagger. But beneath the calm and the robes and the eye sense much fear and new energy. There's this weird vibe that says maybe he wasn't just trying to protect the galaxy. Maybe he was trying to run it. The dude had the Jedi Council wrapped around his fingers like they were his personal chessboard. He made decisions like he was handing down commandments from the Force itself. And don't even get me started on how he looked at Anakin, like he just stepped on his favorite robe every time he walked in. Like, bro, we get it, you're powerful. But maybe stop side-eyeing the Chosen One like he stole your parking spot at the temple. And let's not forget that time he basically told Anakin, hey, thanks for saving the galaxy 17 times, but you're still not allowed to sit at our cool kids table. That's not Jedi wisdom. That's middle school lunchroom politics with a lightsaber. And it's honestly no surprise Anakin snapped when every single mentor figure he had just kept gaslighting him with the word balance. It's like Mace was allergic to prophecy, unless it was about him. The guy invented a fighting style that literally dances with the dark side, and then turned around and acted like Anakin breathing too hard was a war crime. I mean, I'm sorry, but how does one man radiate both Jedi serenity and auditioning for Sith Lord energy in the same scene? And maybe that's what makes this whole thing so fascinating. That the Jedi's most powerful warrior wasn't just a master of combat, but a master of denial. He didn't just miss the signs of the coming darkness, he practically helped write them like a bitter Kothor who didn't get enough credit. In this video, we're going to pull back the hood on Mace Windu and dig into the idea that maybe, just maybe, he wanted to be the Chosen One himself. We'll talk about the prophecy, the pride, the politics, and how one man's obsession with control may have helped ruin everything he was trying to protect. Let's start with a question no one wants to ask out loud. What if Mace Windu didn't just doubt Anakin? What if he envied him? The Jedi were all about selflessness, but Mace was never just another monk in robes. He was the Order's top enforcer, a council leader, and one of the few Jedi who could go toe-to-toe with Sidious. That kind of power doesn't come without ego. He was the kind of Jedi who bent the rules without blinking. He invented his own lightsaber form for crying out loud. Vopad wasn't just aggressive, it was flirting with the dark side while pretending it was research. And somehow, the council was totally fine with it. Why? Because Windu wasn't just feared, he was respected. He was their hammer, and sometimes hammers think everything else looks like a nail. So when Qui-Gon dragged a scrappy 9-year-old into the council chamber and called him the literal messiah, Mace didn't smile, he didn't even lean in with curiosity. He leaned back, arms crossed, like someone just told him his replacement had arrived early. That wasn't doubt, that was denial in Jedi robes. Because if you've spent your whole life believing that you were the one keeping balance, that the Force works through you in ways no one else understands, what happens when someone says it's actually working through a child slave from Tatooine? You don't just get skeptical, you feel robbed. And that's where this all starts. With a Jedi Master who couldn't see prophecy as destiny, only as a demotion. Every time Anakin messed up, every moment he lost control, you could almost see Mace Windu smirk through the screen, like he was waiting for the Golden Boy to fall flat, so he could say, I told you so. Not exactly the attitude you want from a mentor, but that's the vibe Mace gave off. Always judging, never guiding. Take the Battle of Geonosis, Anakin's first real test. Mace shows up late with an army and barely acknowledges the fact that Anakin just fought his way through a death trap. No praise, no reassurance, just more orders. As if Skywalker was just a loose asset, not a future leader. That's not mentorship, that's management by resentment. Or worse, look at the moment when Anakin warns the Council about Palpatine. Here is the moment Windu's doubt could have become trust. Instead, it's like Mace had been waiting for this opportunity. Not to help Anakin grow, but to sideline him. If what you told me is true, you will have gained my trust. Really, after years of risking his life, Anakin has to earn basic trust now. This was a Jedi who was more comfortable swinging a saber than sharing a seat. A man who saw leadership as hierarchy, not responsibility. He didn't just reject Anakin, he undermined him at every turn. And in doing so, he helped push him exactly where he feared he'd go. The irony is brutal. Mace Windu's mistrust was supposed to keep the Order safe. Instead, it helped tear it all down from the inside. And the saddest part is that it didn't have to be this way. Windu could have chosen a different path. He could have taken that powerful intuition of his and used it to nurture instead of gatekeep. Instead, he let his pride keep him cold and distant, even as the galaxy around him crumbled. Imagine Anakin with a mentor who believed in him. Not blindly, not without criticism, but someone who actually gave him space to become something better. Obi-Wan tried, but he was always walking the line between brother and babysitter. Mace could have been the one to fill the role of a real guide. Instead, he acted like Anakin was a grenade waiting to explode. You watch Revenge of the Sith, and you feel it. That quiet tension between them. Not just because of Palpatine, but because Windu never truly wanted to believe Anakin could be what the prophecy said. He didn't see potential, he saw danger. And that pessimism became a self-fulfilling prophecy. By the time Anakin finally snaps, betrays the Order, and kneels before Sidious, part of you wants to scream at Windu too. Not because he caused it directly, but because he helped build the wall. Anakin eventually ran into, brick by brick, doubt by doubt. It wasn't just the galaxy that lost something that day. It was the Jedi who lost their chance at healing through trust. And Windu, with all his power, never saw it until it was far too late. And here's the thing. Mace Windu wasn't some villain hiding behind robes. He was a force of nature. The man took on Darth Sidious head-to-head, and nearly won. That alone puts him in the top tier of Star Wars legends. There's no denying the raw skill, the discipline, the sheer presence he brought to the Jedi Order. His lightsaber form, Vopid, was practically designed to channel darkness without falling into it. That's like walking a tightrope between lava pits, and not even sweating. He didn't just understand combat, he understood balance in a terrifying way. The galaxy trembled when Mace Windu entered the room, and for good reason. He wasn't just good at what he did, he was elite, and he knew it. The problem was, the more powerful he became, the more he relied on that power to validate his worldview. The Council deferred to him, not just because he was skilled, but because he had conviction. Unshakable, even when it should have bent. And maybe that's the tragedy. That a man with such insight could be so blind to the one thing he couldn't control. An unpredictable prophecy wrapped in a teenage Jedi with more emotions than discipline. Windu wasn't wrong to be cautious, but in his brilliance, he became brittle. What makes Windu such a fascinating character isn't what he did, it's what he didn't do. He didn't trust, he didn't let go. And in doing so, he became a cautionary tale disguised as a warrior monk. But even in all this mess, there's something worth holding on to. Because Mace Windu's failure wasn't just a fall from grace, it was a lesson in what the Jedi could become if they chose differently. The Force doesn't need perfection, it needs humility. Something Windu never quite mastered. The Post-Order, survivors Ahsoka, Luke, even Cal Kestis in the games, learned that too. They saw what happens when power is hoarded instead of shared, when trust is withheld instead of earned, and they forged something new. A Jedi way that wasn't built on fear of failure, but on belief in growth. And maybe that's where Windu's story still matters. As a warning, yes, but also as a mirror, one that shows us how close even the greatest can get to falling off course when they stop listening. Not just to others, but to the Force itself. Because in the end, the prophecy didn't need Windu. And it didn't need a council either. It needed belief. Not in rigid rules, but in the idea that people, especially the broken ones, could rise up again. There's hope in that, even if Windu never found it for himself. Mace Windu fell not because he was weak, but because he was too strong to bend. His story is the quiet tragedy of a man who did everything right by the rules, and still got everything wrong when it mattered most. He didn't fall to the dark side, but he also never rose to meet the light that was right in front of him. He could have been the one to guide Anakin. He could have been the bridge between prophecy and purpose. Instead, he became a wall. Cold, firm, unyielding. And when the moment came to act, he chose fear over faith, control over compassion, authority over understanding. It cost him his life. It cost the Jedi their future. And it helped push Anakin into the arms of a monster who knew exactly how to use that rejection as fuel. That's the heartbreak of it. The tragedy isn't just what Mace did. It's what he didn't do when he still had the chance. But maybe that's the point of his legacy. Not to be celebrated, but to be studied. A reminder that power without openness is just another form of blindness. That being right doesn't mean you're wise. And that sometimes the chosen one doesn't need a warrior. He just needs someone who believes he's worth saving. Thank you for watching the whole video. I make videos because of my love for Star Wars and Marvel. I've been asked countless times how I get my subtitles, and I generate them automatically with a tool I built. That same tool can be used here on my website. It's completely free and doesn't require signing up. My website contains the subtitle generator that is perfect for any video. Blogging post, where you can sign up with your email and receive notifications for when I post, and also my 3 channels. Critical Analysis Hub focuses on Star Wars and Marvel movies. Critical Analysis Hub Plus looks at Star Wars and Marvel shows. And Critical Analysis Hub XP centers on video games, like The Last of Us series, Jedi Survivor, and GTA 5. Thank you for being a fan.